she got in the car and left. That was a little over a month ago, and I haven't seen or heard from either of them since.
You haven't seen or heard from your son or your wife in a month?
My wife has. She texted me once to remind me to water her plants while she was gone.
Call from
Tyler.
Hello?
Hello?
What's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
Doing all right. What's your name?
My name is Tyler.
How can I get you today, Tyler?
Oh, I got a lot going on right now, actually.
Hit me.
It's a bit heavy, if that's all right.
You know what? I drank a Celsius and a half a bottle of Diet Mountain Dew, so I'm on about 250 milligrams of caffeine. I feel alert. Okay. I feel awake. I feel as though I will try my best to tackle a heavy thing. Let's give it a shot.
That's cool. Okay, so we'll start this off with, at the end of last year, I was diagnosed with ADHD, depression, and anxiety.
Okay.
In that, I'm married and I have a 3-year-old son. There's a little bit of information there. So, after that diagnosis, I get on proper medications and get into a good therapist. I've been in therapy for a decade or so. I'm 34 now. Oh, sorry. So I start doing that, and I'm starting to realize some things about my life looking back, and I realize that I have been, for the past 7 or 8 years, been in a both physically and emotionally abusive relationship. And for the past 3 years, that has been occurring in front of my son. So
this is with your wife?
This is with my wife, yes. I've been with her, married for 5 years, together for 10.
Okay.
So as I realize these things, I start kind of pushing back on some of the controlling, abusive types of things and trying to fix some stuff, and she just kind of starts to escalate and begins getting kind of like paranoid. Our son was born like right in the middle of COVID, so she's got like a pretty strong protective attachment over him and has been always kind of protective over him, but like doesn't let anybody else drive him around. Rarely will ever let anybody watch him if she's not around, and she started getting that way towards me. She had been accusing me of becoming psychotic after getting on my medications, which, another little side thing, just before I got on my medication, my best friend killed himself. So I kind of had a bit of a mental breakdown because of that. So I think because of that, occurring around the same time as the medication and me pushing back on stuff, she just thought I was going nuts, or she's just nuts herself. I'm not really sure at this point. But anyway, she started getting more and more paranoid. She started calling the police to our house and telling them that she felt threatened by me. I've never done anything violent to her or the kid, but because she said she felt threatened, the police would make me leave. So for about a week or so, she was doing that. So I wasn't able to see my son for that week. Anytime I would try and come home, she would leave. She would pack him up. It'd be gone. Yada, yada, yada. The last time that she called the police, they didn't recommend or tell me that I should leave. So I stayed. She asked if she could leave. They said, yeah, she got in the car and left. That was a little over a month ago, and I haven't seen or heard from either of them since. So that's what's going on with me.
You haven't seen or heard from your son or your wife in a month?
They have contacted me, or my wife has. She texted me once to remind me to water her plants while she was gone. And then another time to offer to do a video chat with him, but the wording and the message is really suspicious, and I had already been told by lawyers and my therapist not to respond to any contact. it's pretty apparent that she's trying to like frame me for domestic violence or something. I'm not really sure what is going on in her head, but
well, I mean, first of all, I'm sorry that all this is happening to you. Second of all, tell me more about what your therapists and lawyers are saying to you.
Okay, so therapist says no contact with her. If she shows up, don't be alone with her. He said, his words were, I am at an extreme risk of being framed for domestic violence. So he said, don't be alone with her. And I've only actually managed to see, I just started seeing him a month or two ago. So I've only, or no, more than a month or two ago. The last month kind of doesn't really count for me right now because it's been such a fucking weird, fucked up thing. But 2 months like before then probably. So I've only seen him 3 or 4 times and never gotten on like a consistent schedule. So I've only seen him twice now since they left. So I haven't really been able to go over with him so much. But we're going to start seeing each other more now that shit's really hit the fan. But the police, I haven't really been able to work with the police too much. They don't like, I live in Michigan, so at least here, the police aren't allowed to like interfere in any kind of custody situation. And even if they are able to, it still has to go through the courts. That's a lot going on. And I think because she is telling them that I'm after her to hurt them or something, the cops aren't really talking to me all that much. They, I think, caught on pretty quickly what was happening, so they can kind of like in code say things to me. But I've had to send a couple wellness checks to her family here and there. So I kind of have like a general idea of where they might be, but I don't have a place where I could send somebody to serve her divorce papers or a restraining order or custody order or anything like that. But the lawyers are, I found a good lawyer. I think he's a good lawyer. He seems to be doing everything that he should be. We're just trying to like track her down at this point because I can't really do anything until I serve her papers.
And what has anyone given you advice about how like you can get your son back?
It's pretty much just get her to come back in one way or another. So the divorce, once she is served, she has to respond to the service, whatever process or whatever, like in person. So she has to like come and sign something in front of a notary here. But that once she gets served, so it's just a matter of once we find her, then the clock kind of starts ticking. Because once if she doesn't respond to it, she'll be delinquent in the divorce, and then it just goes however I want it to. So I'm assuming she would come back, but I also never really assumed that she would kidnap my son.
That is very heavy. Yes, that is very heavy.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Weird. It's very weird because, like I said, I'm in therapy now and I'm on proper medication, specifically antidepressant that's working good for me. Shouts out Cymbalta. So I like probably, at least mentally, besides the like constant hellish turmoil, am doing as good as I've ever done in my entire life. I'm like, and I think like her being gone, I'm realizing how much of an effect just being in a relationship with an abusive person has on your self-esteem and well-being in general, I suppose, and for fucking 8 years practically.
Tell me more about how you're doing better than you ever have before.
Well, I would love to tell you about that. So I'm like calling friends and like hanging out with people that for the past decade or so I've thought didn't like me anymore, but it was just because I wasn't calling them because I was in a controlling relationship. So I'm kind of realizing that I've got three or four of my closest friends I've been friends with for 15 years at least. My best friend I've been friends with for like 25 years. And I've got a super supportive family. They're not really the most emotionally available, but they're supportive in all the ways that they know how. So I'm kind of just like realizing my whole life, I've been kind of like, my life sucks and nobody loves me and everything's terrible and there's no point. And then my son was born and I was kind of like, oh yeah, here's the point. But it was still kind of not me. It wasn't about me still. But now I'm like, oh, I can like go out and do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want to. And I don't have to like ask permission to hang out with my friends or be worried about the repercussions of going and seeing a movie or a show. And I'm a musician. Music has always been like the most important thing in the world to me. And I'm like super excited about making music again. I haven't done it in like 7 or 8 years probably. And just getting back into like that community and stuff. So all that's good, but the like son getting kidnapped and my abusive wife kind of sucks still.
Wow. So looking back on it, do you attribute falling out of touch with these friends and with music and with your family to your relationship with this person?
Yeah, definitely. She
Wow,
it was never like outright like you can't go and hang out with that person. But it was just like anytime I tried to make plans, it would turn into a fight. And then eventually the fight were turning into me getting hit in front of the kid or something like that. And then it gets to the point where you're just like, well, I'm just going to not ask anymore to avoid the conflict and stuff like that. So it's kind of like I'm trying to give myself a little bit of grace because up until the end of last year, I wasn't a mentally stable person and I was kind of being controlled by another person. But I feel kind of stupid for like putting up with it for so long, especially after the kid was born. I feel bad for letting him be around it for too long. But, and then also after being in an abusive relationship like that, your self-esteem is just so low and you're just so depressed you don't feel like doing anything anyways.
How has your depression been like recently?
I mean, it's been since I got on this Cymbalta especially, I've been doing pretty good on that. I haven't like I used to, and I didn't realize that this was a normal thing, but up until I got into therapy and medicated, I wouldn't like consider suicide, but it would be something that I would be on my mind on practically a daily basis. Like just the thought passing through my mind. I realized.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to let you finish.
Oh, and then once I got into therapy and got on the medication, that kind of went away for the most part. And I think that's like the main thing, just like not thinking about my own death all of the time is probably good for my mental health. And like, I just feel legitimately like for the first time, I like can actually be happy. Like, like I said, it's really fucking weird because it's like I'm probably the most unhappy I've ever been in my entire life also. But it's a really strange situation, I guess.
When you were thinking about like dying all the time, what was driving that? Was it like were you thinking about certain events going on in and around your life, or was it just like the fucking chemistry of your brain attacking you?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think that I've got some pretty big issues from having ADHD my whole life and not knowing it, because I kind of just like, and I did all right in school, and at the time that's how people like figured out if their kid had ADHD or not. So I think that's kind of how I squeezed by. But looking back now with like a clearer mind, I'm realizing like, oh, I've like been struggling with like everything my entire life. And because I didn't know that I had ADHD, I thought it was just because I was a fucking idiot or wasn't good enough or didn't deserve to have whatever it was that I was trying to get. So that was going into the abusive relationship, the state of mind that I was in already. And then also depression and anxiety.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. So this is kind of a state of mind that you've had even before you met your wife.
Yeah. And then the ADHD came around. Oops, sorry. What were you saying?
I was going to ask, when did you, like, at what point in your life did you start noticing you, like, had these feelings and issues?
I think I've kind of known my whole life. I've had this conversation with friends and girlfriends and other wives before about kind of just feeling like alien, sort of. Like, I remember when I was really young, just always having that feeling of like everybody else seems to be different than I am, and it seems to make it so that they all get along, and somehow I don't fit in there. So it was just always like kind of just like a general feeling of like I don't belong here, just because like simple, easy things, because I'm not like stupid, but there's a lot of real simple, easy things that I just couldn't do. And I'd be like, well, this is a thing that human beings seem to be able to do pretty easily, and I can't figure it out. And just like I had issues like communicating and expressing myself. And I think the biggest thing has been like not really ever, because I would just kind of like, in order to feel like I was liked by other people, I would just kind of morph myself into what I thought that they wanted a cool person to be or whatever. So I ended up being like a real like go with the flow, like fun kind of party guy, and that's how I figured out how to make people happy or fit in or whatever. But because I was always just going along with what everybody else was doing, I was never really figuring out what I wanted or what would make me happy. And then if I don't know what I want or what would make me happy, I can't ask or try and get it. So I think that's just kind of been preventing me from being happy my whole life.
And so now at 34, you said after therapy and after medication, you finally, well, I know you've kind of phrased it in this weird contradictory way because obviously you're going through a lot of completely insane external circumstances right now. But the way you phrased it was that in a weird way you found this like, do you feel like you found this kind of freedom and happiness from these crazy mental circumstances?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely feels like I have a lot more freedom. And I mean, it is a lot of that's just because I literally don't have anyone to answer to right now. I went from having a toddler that I was chasing around, taking care of, and all this stuff to absolutely nothing, which sucks in a lot of ways, but I can also play guitar as loud as I want, and I can listen to all my deathcore records as loud as I want, and nobody can tell me to turn the wrestling off the TV.
Have your suicidal thoughts gone away?
Yeah, pretty much completely. I haven't really, after my friend killed himself, there was like a week that I couldn't get my medication, that I probably had my closest brush, but since I've been on the meds, it's pretty much gone completely.
What's your name again?
Tyler.
Tyler, I'm curious, for anyone who might be listening to this, who may themselves be going insane, as someone who also, myself personally goes insane fairly often.
Everybody's insane.
And everybody's insane, and everybody is hopeful, hopefully, that one day they will not be going insane. And so, as somebody who, at least in this very moment, again, despite pretty nightmarish external circumstances. You seem to, at least from what I'm gathering from you, be going less insane. What would you say to those people, and how they themselves can deal with these issues?
I would definitely say go to therapy. I would definitely say talk to your doctor about potentially getting on medications if that's the kind of thing you're into. Talk to your friends. Just fucking talk to somebody. Talk to anybody. Just talk to people about how you're feeling. Really, that's what I found since they left. Like, there was a week or so that I was just kind of like holed up in the house, not doing anything, not talking to anybody. And at this point, like, nobody knew about any of the abuse, and nobody really knew what had happened. They just knew that they were gone. And it was pretty fucking miserable. But the second that I just started talking to just anybody, and even if like nothing got resolved, even if they didn't say anything back, like, I think just going over it in your head, at least, especially at first when it's something like this crazy, because it took me like a week or so just to even like actually like understand what was going on. But just going over it over and over and over in your head, and just because a lot of people try and avoid thinking about stuff, and every now and then, yeah, you got to give yourself a break, but you're not going to get over anything if you're not working it out. So I would say the best thing that is for me in my mental health has been talking to my friends just about what's going on, or just anything really.
Yeah, I mean, no, when you keep it in your head, it goes exactly. It's not about like, I guess, the response. It's about like getting it out of your head and talking about it, because if it just stays in your head, it rattles and becomes a fucking hurricane. Yeah.
And what I found was that in situations of abuse, if you don't talk about it and then it keeps going on for so long, you just get used to it. And then you don't know that you're being abused. Because it took, again, like a week after they left for me to be like, oh shit, yeah, this has been an abusive relationship. And that was because I was talking to my friends about it. And just because, and because she's been telling me it's been my fault and that it's because I make her mad and all these things that I do or whatever. And I believed her because I wasn't talking to anybody else. But the second I talked to anybody else, and I was feeling like I was a horrible father, a horrible husband. She made me feel fucking worthless every fucking day. Yeah, the second I started talking to people, I very quickly realized, like, oh no, I'm the one that has been doing everything right, and she is the evil person here. So just talking to people, you might even realize some huge thing that's been going on in your life for a fucking decade that you didn't even really have any idea about. And you'll feel better about it afterwards because you talked about it. But the therapist would be good too.
Tyler, I'm going to pray for you, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not religious, and I was for a long time very anti-religious, but I've grown to appreciate people praying for me.
Hey man, neither am I. I'm just praying. I've been trying to pray. I'm not religious at all, but I'll just clasp my hands and shake them like a maraca, and that's
I do it
praying to
occasionally.
me, I guess.
The maraca, you should probably get an actual maraca. God would probably hear you better if you did that.
Tyler, thanks for sharing all this stuff. This was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for talking. I've been calling for several weeks, and I think I may have been rude to you one time.
Wait. When do you think? Well, when were you rude to me?
I think I got through. I wasn't sure because I was like going back and forth on my phone, and I had called like a bunch of times and kept leaving different names, and then there was one that I was like, "Are you gonna fucking answer or what?" And then I switched back to the Twitch, and I heard like the very end of it, I think, and you're like, well, not if you're gonna be like that. And I was like, fuck.
Well, I forgive you for being rude.
That's really why I called. I just wanted to get forgiven for that. Yeah.
You are forgiven, Tyler.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
Just talk to people. Just talk to your friends. And also, you go with your wife or husband or long-term boyfriend or girlfriend. A fun date night could be you could go to your local mental health facility and you could both take some sort of mental health exam to make sure that nobody is going to go insane and kidnap.
Is that? Well, I don't know if I would call that a date night, but that sounds pretty nice. Actually, that would be a fun first date to have.
That would be a fun first date.
That'd be a fun. I don't know if that.
Shit came up.
I don't know if that's a good date night for a 5-year relationship, but it's probably a good thing to do.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But that would be a fun
take
first
care
date.
of your mental health is what I would say to the people of the world.
Good luck, Tyler. Take care.
You too. Thanks, man.
You know, folks, I've thought a billion thoughts, and I've spoken to a billion people, and all I really have gleaned from it is that life is fucking crazy. So do your best, I guess. Attention listeners of the Therapy Gecko podcast. Did you know that I do a live version of this podcast on stage, in person, in front of real people, and that I'm doing this live show in several cities across the United States and Europe this fall, and that tickets are available right now at therapygeckotour.com or at the link in the episode description? It is all true. I'm currently on my 3rd tour doing Therapy Gecko live all around the country, and it is the most fun, sick, amazing thing ever, and you should come out and be a part of it. The shows involve a mix of material and presentations from myself, combined with a group Gecko therapy session where members of the audience come on stage to share things from their lives in front of a big group of people, just like we do here on the podcast. Whether you're a fan of the podcast or you have no idea what this is and you clicked on it by accident, you're going to have a great time at the live show. Once again, tickets are available right now at therapygeckotour.com or at the link in the episode description. These are really fun shows. They're always wild, they're always unpredictable, and I hope to see you guys there.
From Sam. Hello?
Hi, what is your name?
My name is Kiwi, or you can call me Sam, either or.
What's going on, Sam?
Oh my god, I am freaking out right now. I'm so sorry.
What would you like to talk about on the Gecko podcast today?
Give me one second, Mom. I want to talk about moving to Australia.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Where from?
California.
What's bringing you to Australia?
I am leaving everything behind. I am sick and tired of the way my family treats me, and I have been talking to all my friends in Australia, and they are so down to bring me over there.
Okay, I have 2 questions. First of all, how old are you?
I am 20.
Okay, and you just said, I heard you just now. You were like, "Hey, Mom, give me 1 second." You are with your mom right now.
No, she just knocked on my door.
Oh, okay. And you, yeah. What's wrong with the way that your family treats you?
They are extremely religious and homophobic, so that's fun.
Okay. And, so let me understand. So do you have a job? Are you in school?
I did have a job. I just got fired like a week ago.
Okay. Tell me about the plan to move to Australia.
Okay, so it's like a long story, but like for the past 8 years or so, ever since like my stepdad came into the picture, like my life has just been like terrible. Oh my god, I'm still geeking out right now. I'm so sorry.
Are you all right? Are you all right, brother?
I'm fine. I'm just like super excited. I have been a major fan of the show. I've watched you since the guy with the rivalry between the Taco Bell and the McDonald's.
Yeah. That's a classic one. That's a classic one.
I work at the Taco Bell.
But so sure, if you want to give me the backstory, you can give me the backstory. But then I'm curious about what the plan is of how you're going to get there.
So I am currently looking for a job, and I have like a couple aspects like up and coming. One of them is becoming a warehouse worker, where I will be making $28 an hour because my neighbor is actually getting me that job. And
28 Australian dollars an hour?
No, American.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And hopefully, you know, he's not like a hiring manager there, but he's like up in rank at that company.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully by the end of this week, I should be hearing back from him or like the company.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's looking pretty promising. So $28 an hour, 10-hour work days. It's going to be crazy. I'm going to be fucking loaded, and I'm going to be... So we're like, me and my Australian friends are kind of like still talking about it. But we're hoping to have me over there by March.
And what's involved? Where? Well, a few questions. Where in Australia are you going?
Adelaide.
Radelaide. Hell yeah, I went to Adelaide a year ago. It's a fun town. What's the visa shit looking like?
We're just gonna get we're talking about that currently. Where like they're giving me all the information that I need personally to get over there, but there's still like plans in motion that I have to do before that. Because I am a trans person, male to female. So part one of this plan, it's already in motion. I have my like specialist appointment to get me on hormones coming up within the next 3 weeks. It's going to be August, I believe the 22nd is when I go in to see my specialist.
But is this related to the visa situation of how you're going to get to Australia?
No. Okay, so this is like plans before I go to Australia. Like we're talking like we're getting me on the prescription so that it's easier for me to get it in Australia, and I don't have to go through the entire process again.
Sure.
And then after that, it's going to be a legal name change. After that, that's when we're going to do the visa. And everything is moving so fast, and it's just like, it's looking super promising.
That's very exciting. I think, I think if you have a job lined up there and you have friends lined up there, I think 20 is actually a pretty good age to be like, fuck it, I'm just going to leave where I live and go to Australia.
No, I mean, like, seriously, like, the other night, like, it's always something in this house. Like, I can just be like, hey, I'm going to go out with, like, by myself or something. Like, I'm a big Magic the Gathering fan.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was working, I would go to like pre-releases and tournaments and stuff like that. And it was always an issue with like my mom and stepdad. They're like, oh, well, when are you going to come back? When is this? When is that? I'm like, I'm 20 years old already. Like, you don't have to be on my ass. Like, I'm going to be home before like 10.
Well, well, what's your name again?
My name's Sam.
Sam, that's less of an issue that's just like, In life, it's like, look, all you have to do to not be under your parents' rule is like, you know, make enough money that you don't have to live at their house, you know.
No, I mean,
and it sounds like you have I mean, look, if if what you're telling me is true, and you can line up a $28 an hour, $28 an hour job working in Adelaide, and you don't have to go bankrupt. I have no idea what the bureaucracy of going to work in Australia is, and I don't know how expensive it is. And
the job,
but if you're telling me that everything is working out really well, then I'm incredibly excited for you. This sounds really cool.
The job is here in the States, so I'm gonna try to save up at least $8,000, at least $8,000 in a.
Wait, so you have a job lined up in California. This is not in Australia.
Yeah, this is in California.
Oh, okay. I thought you were moving. I thought you had a job lined up in Australia.
No, I wish. Oh my god.
So, okay. So this is a long-term plan that you're talking about here.
This is like a year tops plan.
Okay. All right. So we are going to work at this. We're going to work fucking 50 hours a week at our warehouse job in California. We're going to live at our parents' house, and we're going to save up a bunch of money until we can eventually afford to move to Australia. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, sir.
I like that plan. I think that's a cool plan.
And you want to know what the best part of that plan is?
Tell me.
I'm leaving without saying a word.
To your family?
To my family. I'm just going to disappear in the night. I'm leaving. All I'm going to do is going to leave a note, be like, I'm out skis, pieces, fuck you guys.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're not getting along with your family.
It's always been an issue with my family, to be honest.
So the plan. So have you looked into what the costs are of immigrating to Australia? We
have. So to get a visa, I believe it's like $350. They told me to like just apply for it. You have to put down like $350 or something like that.
Okay. And so the plan. What are you going to do when you get to Adelaide?
First thing when I get to Adelaide, I'm moving in with my friend Sharky.
Mm-hmm.
And like first week of me getting situated, we're gonna go to like a furniture store, get me a bed. Like I'm selling everything. Like within this year that I plan on leaving, I'm selling everything that I have. Mm-hmm. My TV, my PlayStation, fucking books, anime, like shit people want.
Okay.
To also like contribute to the fund.
So, do you have plans for like what? By the way, I'm not trying. Here's like what my genuine feeling is like. I think that at 20 is actually a pretty good age to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna move to Adelaide with no plan and just fucking get there, and then I'll figure it out from there. I actually like that idea. I'm just like, okay, how do we get a baseline so that you don't starve and die? Or honestly, even less dramatic than that. Just you like, having to be like, I don't know, dependent on your friends for money, or like just shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. You just don't want to get fucked. No. You just want to like. You want like. I like again. I like the idea of taking a big risk, but I would plan it out logistically enough so you're like, I'm not gonna end up in like a fucking situation where Sharky turns out to be crazy, and I have to rely on them for you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but it's like I'm gonna have enough money to where I wouldn't have to rely on them. So, like I said, I want to save up 8,000 at minimum, 8,000 USD, and I believe that translates to like 9 or 10K in AUD.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
I'm gonna save up about 8,000 US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, if I'm not too, I wouldn't, don't take my word for it, but I believe it translates to like 9 to 10K in AUD.
AUD is, Australian dollars are worth 65%. If you take whatever you have in US dollars and you divide it by 0.65, and that's what you got in Australian.
I thought it was more. Wait,
do you ever Google this?
Or divide it? Is it times it or divide it? I thought it was times it.
You divide it. You divide it. So you take your $8,000, go in your calculator app, you type 8,000 divided by 0.65, and that is how much you will have in Australian dollars.
No, but I mean, one American dollar is 67 cents in AUD, I believe.
I don't think you will have, if you take your American money, you will have and convert it to Australian dollars, it will be more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the same page. Whatever. We're arguing about something that's Google. We're not arguing. We're discussing something that is Googleable. But anyway, whatever. Math aside, what are you gonna do when you get there?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna live life. Like, I'm gonna enjoy life to the fullest. Finally, spread my wings, man. You know.
Cool.
And also, don't tell the Australian government, but I'm gonna be smuggling weed seeds.
Sam, I'm gonna give you some advice.
All right.
Okay, as you are attempting to immigrate into this country, I strongly advise you keep no secrets from the Australian government.
But I mean, come on. How am I gonna live without smoking some weed?
Weed's fucking legal in Australia, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's not.
You'll find. Listen, you and Sharky can probably find weed in about 2 seconds. You don't need to bring it. You don't need to shove seeds up your ass and bring them to Australia.
Hey, I never said anything about shoving them up my ass. Okay.
Again, Sam. Look, I'm excited for you. I just, don't do anything to piss off Australia, all right? Because you don't want to. Don't smuggle weed into Australia, okay?
Okay,
because
maybe the second time I come back to Australia, let's say I go back to California. Let's say I forget something, or I go back for some reason, some reason, some way. I go back, right?
Can I give you another piece of advice?
What's up?
Have you thought about? You've never been there, right?
I have not.
Have you considered?
The fun part of it. That's the fun part of it.
Have you considered taking a trip before you move?
I have not, but plane tickets are like super expensive. It's like $2,000 right now. And that's just for a one-way.
All right. Well, so you have you've decided that, okay, logistically, if I stay in my family house for a year, then I'll have enough to go.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to leave your family why do you want to leave your family without saying anything to them?
Because it's hard, like, living here. Like, I'm like 99% sure after I hang up the phone with you, my mom's gonna be like, "Who the fuck are you on the phone with? Talking about Australia?"
Okay.
Like, okay, so my parents are very transphobic. Like, they said if I'm ever to start that whole thing, I will never be welcomed in their house.
I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. I'm very sorry to hear that. I think it's a bummer that your family, it doesn't is like that. So yeah. But again, the theme of what I am trying to get at in this is that it's good that you're excited, but make sure you got your logistics down before you just move one way to a foreign country. But again, I mean, it's worked out for some people, so I don't know. Just don't die.
I mean, the only way I die getting to Australia is if the plane crashes, or if I have a fucking panic attack on the plane and have a heart attack. Also, I've never flown in a plane before, so that's also fun.
Just, I guess the thing that worries me is you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go one way, and I'll stay at my homie's house, and I'm gonna bring weed there, but don't tell anyone.
Hey, you're revealing the secret, man. Come on.
Don't keep secrets, Sam. Don't keep any secrets from the Australian government. All right. Well, okay. Before we go, is there any other aspect of this that you wanted to talk about or think through or anything like that?
I want to know what you think about it. Should I at least give a goodbye?
Should you at least give a goodbye to your family? I actually was thinking about that because you told me that you were gonna leave without saying a note, and I was trying to think about what I think about that. At the end of the day, it's like, to me, what would make you feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about what would make you feel good in the moment. So I'm talking about, when you're older and you look back on everything, like what's the decision that's going to make you feel like you did everything you could, right?
Well, I mean, in like from my perspective, right? I see it as like, like if I'm to start doing what I want to do with my body, I'm not welcome to see my family ever again. And, it kind of sucks because I do have younger siblings. Like I've seen both of them grow up, and to know that, like, if I'm to do what I want to do, if I want to be happy, I can't see them be happy, if that makes sense.
Your siblings?
Yeah.
How old are your siblings?
I have a 13-year-old sister and a 6-year-old little brother.
Okay. And are you cool with them? You have a good relationship with them?
My sister, for sure.
Okay. And not your brother?
Well, I mean, he's younger, I'm always, like, watching him, so.
When you say you're going to leave without saying anything, does that mean you're going to not say anything to them, too?
I don't know. I feel like I might tell my sister Ruby, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to break her heart.
Well, okay, I'll ask you again. I mean, what do you think would make you feel is the right way to move forward? Also, you have a year to think about this.
I do have a year to think about this, but it's like, God, it's like, with how fast everything's moving right now, it's just like, time's gonna fly.
How fast is everything moving? You don't even have any of the anything.
But I do.
Have you Have you applied for an Australian visa yet?
Okay, no, not yet.
Okay, dog. This ain't moving as fast as you think it is if you don't have any of the paperwork or the job or the like. It's all. Again, I really like. I don't want to be a downer. I believe in the vision, but like, this is not. You're not moving to Australia tomorrow.
I know that, but it's like, like for the next year, I'm going to have to hide my medication from fucking everyone. Because remember, I'm seeing a specialist on the 22nd of this month. I have to go Black Ops, okay? It's secret operation.
Well, again, I'm sorry that your family has made the mistake of their love being conditional.
It's always been that way. I mean, I've gotten used to it. Like, I've been called the F slur, the T slur. You know, being told I'm gonna go to hell because I want to live this way, and it's just like I hear it so often. I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right, but like at least I'm gonna be happy.
Is there anything else you want to say or talk about or anything like that before we go?
I do want to say one thing because I know my coworker who made me lose my job listens to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said at the beginning of this call, I lost my job. And this is because a girl at my work, who is a terrible person to work with, she'll make her dumbass comments like, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. And I'm just like, can you just shut the fuck up? I'm trying to work. Right? She even told me I was going to hell once. You know, I know she listens to this podcast, so fuck you, Jackie, you big back bitch. I fucking hate you.
No, Sam, don't. Sam, look,
Okay, you can cut that out. You can cut that out.
No, dude, it's just like,
dude, she accused me of stealing from the store.
fucking let him. I don't know. Sam, I really I hope you find happiness in your life.
I am happy. Right? I am happy.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. Well, good luck. I hope you make many Australian dollars. I hope you you get to hang out in a kangaroo's pouch and eat a koala and do all the fun things you get to do over there. Have a good night, Sam.
Wait, hold on, Lyle.
What? What's up?
One thing before I go, okay? I want to thank you for everything you've done, man.
I'm trying
seriously,
my best.
You've gotten me through some tough shit, dude. The calls are the best. And, man, I just want to thank you for having me on again. Like, you don't... In total,
wait, did we talk before?
No.
Oh.
I have called you. Literally just today, I called you 220 times just to get in.
Well, Sam, thanks for listening. Good luck. I hope it all works out for you. All right. Have a good night, Sam.
Thank you. You too. Love you.
That was interesting. I have a lot of thoughts about that. I want to reiterate a few things. One is I genuinely do believe that if there ever was a time to move to a foreign country and abandon all you know, it's probably like high risk decisions are probably better made when you're younger than when you're older. You know, you don't have kids, you don't have a family, you don't really have any responsibility. Your really only responsibility is to eat enough food and sleep inside enough that you don't die. So as long as you can meet that responsibility, you're probably good. The whole thing about like whether or not Sam should say goodbye to their family, I was really thinking about that because it is a bummer when your family is like, you know, I mean, families fight and there's, you know, things that people like don't like or don't approve of or whatever, and you can kind of like reconcile that. But to have it like be at the point where like you can't be in, I won't be in your life anymore. You know, I won't. You know, even if I don't approve of this thing or don't like this, it's not even like I don't approve, but like, of you know, you're my child, like that nothing will ever change that. You know, I think when it goes beyond that to a point of like you can't be in the house, you can't fucking call me. It's sad. But I'm also like Sam was saying a bunch of things where I was like, slow down for a second here. Let's make sure we know the conversion rate of the currency first. Know the bureaucracy involved in doing the stuff that we want to do. So I don't know. I hope they're all right. I hope they do stuff, and I hope everything works out. I like Adelaide. Shout out to where the fuck did I do my show there? The Lion something. I had a good time. So yeah. Shout out Australia. Shout out life. God bless Mickey Mouse.